Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody out in TV land, social media land, and blog land. If you're seeing us or listening to us, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat here in sunny Port Richey, Florida, and my co-host, as always, is Mr. Steve Reed in an undisclosed location somewhere in northern Texas. Mr. Steve, how are we doing?
We are doing amazingly well. How are you?
I'm almost walking without a cane. And
Woohoo! That is very good. That is very good.
I need a little applause for that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I too am walking without a cane these days. I have it with me most of the time when I'm out and about. But went for physical therapy today, and they're like, "Wow, you're amazing!" So. Anyway, I knew that. So, and then the rest of the people started to applaud, just like you had. So, anyway,
yeah. I'll give you the little applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll keep the sound effects to that.
So we're bringing a return guest to our show. That last time we had brought him on, we talked about the indoctrination and grooming of our youth across the country within our school systems.
Yep.
He's a real cowboy from Austin, Texas. He was featured in the book They Stood by Margaret White and is currently an activist for conservative values. Mr. Kyle Sims attends school board meetings, council meetings, commissioner meetings, and hearings in Austin with the hopes of stopping corruption in our schools through legislation. Kyle, how are you doing? Welcome back to Taboo Talk.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the time, and good to see both of you again.
Good to see you, Kyle. You know, Ray, there's one thing you left out of that introduction. It was a fine introduction. It's very good. But the one thing that you left out is he's an all-around great troublemaker.
I heard something that happened. You want to kind of elaborate on that, Kyle?
Yeah, so I do quite a few speaking engagements around the area where I live, and last month, the proclaimed Satanists and their little minions called a couple places and not only threatened the venues, but they made a lot of crap up about me that wasn't true. And 2 places canceled me. So the morning of the event, we were scrambling for another venue and found one in Plano, Texas. And shame on the Satanists because they drew me a bigger crowd than I probably would have had, and I had about 125 people show up.
So were you getting a little bit of this? Or what was going on?
You know, these idiots were blowing everybody's social media up. They were intimidating everybody. They intimidated the businesses. And so we just had to show them that us Texas natives don't mess around with that kind of stuff. We're going to do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Damn.
But we had a presentation. I do a presentation talking about elected officials and how to get involved and how to do research, what all's happening in the schools and the cities, and with the school district police forces, how they're being tyrants. So it was a good event, and we're speaking again actually next Thursday at a church, and they've already called the church trying to get me canceled, but that didn't work either because the pastor told them to just go pound sand.
Well, can you go into what is currently happening in the Texas legislature and what you bring to the table and how to combat it?
Well, as y'all probably know, last week was the last day to file bills, last Friday. So right now there's a lot of hearings going on in Austin at the Capitol and a lot of testimony happening. And the big thing on Texas legislators' plates right now is protecting these children. I'm following one bill in particular that bans the pornography in books in the schools. And I just got a text right before we went on that there are almost 80 people that are going to testify on that bill tonight, which means they're probably going to be there all night. But, we're at a crossroads in Texas because we're fighting, unfortunately, some of our Republican legislators that don't have the spine to stand up for these kids.
Yeah.
So this is where rubber meets the road. We're going to see how tough they are and how much spine they've got, and see if we can start protecting these children from this indoctrination that keeps going on in these schools.
So a lot of the satanic protesters that came to kind of shut you down, were they bussed in, or were they people that actually lived in your area? Were there arrests made, or
no? None of that. They're from here, and I would say they're a lot more talk than they are action. They want to try to scare you and intimidate you, but I've made it very clear. I've got 6 grandbabies with my bride, and there's one thing I'm not going to do. Number one, I'm not going to waver from my values, and I'm not going to step down from a coward that comes after me trying to intimidate me.
Oh, Ray, you've been waiting for that all evening. Oh,
I like
Ray.
that.
Yeah. All right, so Kyle, I saw 2-3 weeks ago, something like that, maybe longer. There was a video, and I'm sure it's not the only one, but there's a woman who was testifying before a school board somewhere. I don't know where it was. And she is reading from one of the books that her 14-year-old son had checked out from the library.
Uh-huh.
I know you're familiar with at least that one video, but there are a ton of other videos. How much validity is there in what she was talking about? Is that actually really happening?
It's really happening. 2 weeks ago, I actually read one from another book at our meeting in McKinney, Texas. And this is happening all over the country. I know y'all probably saw the video of the 12-year-old that actually got up and read in front of a board meeting up north.
Yeah.
But this is absolutely 100% true.
Wow.
Like the more we dig, the more filth we find, and it just gets worse by the book.
So what's the purpose of doing this? Why not you? What's the purpose of having that kind of garbage in the schools? What are they trying to accomplish?
Well, this has been going on for decades, but what we're experiencing is the woke mob movement wants to make sure that everybody's equal. There's no difference in boys and girls, and they want everybody to be loved for whatever they want to be, including kids that dress up as animals, which we identify as furries. So people won't believe this, but it's going on in little small country communities in our area. One town is Farmersville, which, Steve, you probably know.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So,
yeah, I know Farmersville, but I had no clue.
Yeah, it's in Farmersville. It's in Princeton. It's in, Prosper. It's all around us. And, some of the teachers are afraid to speak up, but my philosophy is whoever screams the loudest is going to get the most attention.
Yeah.
Right now, they're screaming louder.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do with our party. We have to make sure people understand that we are facing a complete takeover of these schools to have them fully indoctrinated. And this is with pronouns, with surveys going out without the parents' knowledge. There's all kind of things going on that a lot of people still to this day text me and say, I had no idea that was going on. What's happening?
that's enough to make you sick, you know.
Right, it is. I mean, this is, and here's what people need to understand. If any of us were to take that book out on a street corner or in a store and get a group of kids and read that book to them, we would be arrested.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately.
So why are we letting school boards get away with this? In Texas, particularly, the Texas Association of School Boards and Texas Education Agency empowers these teachers to do what they're doing because of loopholes in the current laws. That's what we're fighting against in Austin. That's why we're trying to get these bills passed.
Okay, so why are the teachers allowing this? Why are the librarians allowing these books in the schools? What are they trying to accomplish?
Well, if people understand, a lot of teachers give money to TASB, a lot of school boards give money to TASB. So these school boards are coming in as tyrants, and they put so much pressure on these teachers to do what they have set forth they want.
Okay.
So a lot of them are afraid to speak up. The ones that do speak up, some have been let go of their positions. So they're caught in between a rock and a hard place. Do I defend what I believe in, or do I keep my job? That's what's going on.
Okay, for my sake and our audience's sake, what is TASB?
Texas Association of School Boards.
Okay, thank you.
So there's a entity, you might as well call it a lobbyist group, that is housed in Austin, Texas, that all the school boards kind of report to. They set the tone for what school boards are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, and them along with the Texas Education Agency, they set the curriculum for Texas schools.
Okay.
So there's 3 major book suppliers that supply books to schools across the country. And those, when they send a load of books to a school, like if a new school opens and say they want 45,000 books,
right,
those distributors send in 45,000 books. Well, by the time they get them and a school opens, they don't have time to go through 45,000 books or their titles. So they put them on the shelf. So this is coming from woke companies that's instilling the indoctrination into the schools.
Gotcha.
Now we're coming up on a hard break. So Kyle, we're gonna stop there for a second and come right back to you after this commercial.
Here we go.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Amanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.us or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train. You know, Steve, and we can bring Kyle on also, but I make it my mission with Heroes in Action to empower kids to know what to say and what to do when they're face to face with a bully at school, as well as a child predator, somebody that's grooming them or somebody that's trying to manipulate them because their brains haven't totally formed and function and aren't mature enough to know a lot of times what's right and what's wrong. And kids are taught from the get-go to always listen to or follow directions from your adults. And when the adults are spewing this crap that that kids can't decipher whether it's mom, dad, should I do what they're telling me to do? Should I go in that direction or not? It's what's sad is these kids are stuck in a hard place. Yep. They've got nowhere to go. That it's, do I believe my parents or do I believe my teachers? And my mission is to go to schools and kind of empower kids and empower teachers so that they know what's right and what's wrong, and they can say, you know what, this makes more sense. And hopefully I give them a voice to stand up against the school boards that are trying to politicize everything that's going on within our schools, just so that they can get their way. They're indoctrinating the kids, and this has got to stop.
I couldn't have said it better.
I agree.
And
And
the
in
sad
order
thing
for me to get the message out, you've got the QR code up there. We're looking for donations. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Your donation solely goes towards us going into communities and schools and continuing our message of teaching kids how to be their own heroes and how to stand up for themselves. So if you go to our website at heroesinaction.us, or you can email me for more information at ray@heroesinactionnow.org. I would love to sit down and talk with any of our listeners or viewers and let you know what we do. Your donations will help us go a long way so that we can not only just go to areas here in Florida, but Texas, St. Louis. We're actually flying to New York and doing a program out there in a couple of weeks or in a week or so. So we would love to come to your area, but we need donations to help make that happen. So
Yeah.
please make a donation.
Ray, in other words, what you're saying, based on what Kyle has been sharing with us, is we got a bunch of bullies that are beating up our kids.
We got a bunch of bullies that are manipulating our teachers, that are manipulating our
Yes.
parents, that are
Yes.
trying to have their way to brainwash our kids into not being critical thinkers or independent thinkers, and that's got to stop.
Ray, we always say on the program at some point in time that this is an opinion-based program, not necessarily the same as any sponsors or affiliates or even our guests. But I think in this particular case, since all three of us are correct on this, it is a fact-based program, not an opinion-based program. So
That is correct.
pretty
And
sad.
guys,
Pretty sad.
one thing a lot of people don't understand, and I'm not sure about other states, but in Texas, a child cannot consent till they're 17 years old. So why in the world do we have them consenting at third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh grade with pornography in schools? This is what I don't understand, why there's any human standing on the face of this earth that is okay with this.
Because they are perverted.
You're right. And guys, I haven't not seen so many people transitioning in my entire life as I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
That's, and I tell people, I've got friends that are gay, but I've also got friends that are gay that don't believe in the indoctrination that these kids are going through.
Yeah.
And why somebody would transform their son or their daughter at 9 or 10 years old just absolutely makes me sick.
So I've got a question, and Steve, you can jump in on this as well. It's if you look at all of the states, all in the United States of America, you look at all the conservative states, you look at all the liberal states. I would like to see a poll. Is there more kids that are identifying in other genders or whatever else in the conservative states, or are they in just the libertarian states or the Democratic run states? That would be interesting to know, as far as who's pushing the agenda and what are those numbers like.
That would be a very interesting poll, but I can tell you in Texas is worse than I thought I would ever see it. And I'm a native Texan. I've never thought in my life I would see so much protest and forgiveness of this that we're seeing in this state. It's just unbelievable.
That's why I was asking if they were bussed in, or if they're actually people that live there.
No, there's people that live here in Texas that it's plentiful.
Yes, there are a lot of people that adhere to this indoctrination, But I remember hearing Rush Limbaugh many, many years ago when he was battling one of his big cancel things. And this probably goes back 25, maybe even 30 years. And he said that there is a small fringe group of people that are, instead of making one phone call, they're making 100 phone calls. Instead of using one email address, they're using 50 or 100 or 200 email addresses. And they're making it look like it's a lot bigger, a lot worse than what it really is. And that was one of the things that Donald Trump has been dealing with as well, with all of the fake bots that are out there that are spreading all of this trash and the crap. And I think it's probably a very small fringe group of people that are causing the problem.
No, I think you're right. I think the last number I saw was 1 to 2%.
Exactly.
However, just like in Austin yesterday, if you watch the videos from the Capitol there yesterday,
Mhm.
that thing was packed with LGBTQ plus people. But there are a lot of bots online that go in and create fake
Yeah,
accounts
yeah,
because they
exactly.
created fake accounts in my name, telling me that I hate people and blah blah blah, which is
Yeah,
not true.
yep.
Uh, but yeah, I tend to agree with you, Steve, that I don't think it's as big a percentage. They're just being louder. They're making more noise than we are,
Yep.
and I'll have to say that they're unified more than we are.
I,
You
I would
know,
agree. I would
we
agree.
we have a party that has become so complacent
Yes.
in what is actually
Yes.
happening
Yeah.
that now everybody's starting to wake up and saying, "Oh man, I knew nothing about that, but here we are." So it's all about being organized and being on the same page.
The I think one of the biggest problems is that there is so much money on the left, and they are going to pay a lot of these people to show up at their rallies
Uh-huh.
or whatever their event is. And so you've got all of these fake numbers because the Soroses of the world are just generating millions and millions of dollars to pay these people, whereas conservatives have this thing called a job, and we have
Yep.
to go to work, and we
Yeah.
don't have the financial support from the conservative side of things to be able to take time off from work because we are responsible. So you've got the liberals that are getting money from the liberal organizations, and conservatives are out there working, doing business.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. And that's a good point. I just wish that more people would start doing research like we do, like
Agree.
y'all do. Because
Agree.
if they did the research, maybe just maybe they would understand that although they're not affected directly, they
Yeah,
are
they're affected.
affected.
Yeah, they're affected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like I say, I run into people every day. I get calls every day saying, Kyle, you posted this on one of your social media feeds. I didn't know anything about this, and I live in this town.
yeah.
Well, folks, I give you links to go to. I give you sites to go to. All we got to do is click a button, and you're there.
Exactly.
I would like to know, typically kids that are 8, 9 years old, they get bullied because of the way they look, because of the way they dress, their status, their religion, their race or whatever else. And now we're confusing these kids even more with all of the LGBT, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. And the number of suicides that are going on because of the
Yes.
confusion
Yes.
is a lot higher than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
And it's brought on by adults that have an agenda.
Yeah.
you're exactly right, Ray. They do have an agenda. I mean, guys, we just had 2 school shootings in the Dallas area in the last 2 days. And this is why I preach about schools getting back to basic education, because what we've done is we've created an environment to where each student is on his own. I mean, that's basically what we've created.
Yeah.
We have no oversight of the mental health in this state or this country, and that's what everybody's ignoring. if we would hit the core issue, which is mental health,
yeah,
that's when we make a difference. But nobody wants to talk about mental health.
You know, Kyle, several weeks ago we were talking about some similar things or related things, not about kids so much, but I remember, and I mentioned then, I graduated from college in '78. My undergraduate degree is in psychology, and one of the mandatory classes that I had to take, required course, was abnormal psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And we are living in a world of abnormal psychology that is trying to be normalized. All
Absolutely.
the stuff that you're talking about is perverted.
It is.
It,
It
but
is.
it's a okay. We
Well,
are
and we don't even have preachers standing up speaking out about this. Very few of them. We've
yeah,
lost God in everything we do.
yeah,
I agree.
absolutely, absolutely. And you know, unfortunately, at this point in time, because I love this conversation, I don't like it, but I like it. We're having some good conversation.
Oh, we were
W-
talking about mental health. Let's talk about health.
We'll talk about physical health. So here we go.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells. A true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. No drugs, no injections, no kidding.
You know, I frequently talk about the LifeWave product, the X39 patch. Here's a sample of the patch. You can see how small it is. In fact, it is so thin you don't even know that you're wearing it. But one of the things that I rarely talk about is the aspect of mental clarity. And since I've been using these patches now for the past 14, 15 months, my effectiveness has increased significantly. I'm getting so much more done throughout the day. I told a group of people a couple of days ago. 2 years ago, I would frequently hit a wall at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my recliner is right over there, and I just go and take a little 10, 15-minute cat nap. And then by 2:15, 2:30, I'm wide awake and I'm raring to go again. I haven't taken a nap like that in 14, 15 months. And frankly, thank you very much. I'm a little bit annoyed with this because I liked my naps. They were good, and naps are wasted on kindergartners. But anyway, no, I'm getting so much more done. Mental clarity, better focus all the way around, more energy by simply activating my stem cells. So,
And we
uh,
need the mental clarity to figure out all this stuff that's going on within our
absolutely.
school districts.
All right. So, for our listening audience, you can find out more information by going to www.lifewave.com/Stephen Reed, and that is STEPHENREED, or you can send me an email at info@stephenreedministries.com. So I'd love to share some more information. And if you're interested, I'd love to share a free sample for you or with you. So,
Now,
Ray,
for our
what's up
listening
next?
audience, let's bring back, just so you guys know, it's Mr. Kyle Sims.
He's in
Uh,
here.
do you have, no, for our listening audience, they don't see him. Um, Kyle,
Ray, they don't see us either. But
well, I know that.
okay, just saying. That's the lighthearted side of our
Do you have
broadcast.
other information on how people can get a hold of Kyle?
We do, as a matter of fact. Let me go ahead and pull a slide up. But actually, I want to share a couple of other images. Kyle, you're going to have to describe the next two images that I'm about to share. So, what is this first image? It looks like a big book. What's the deal on this?
So this Margaret White is a author out of Las Vegas, and she started following me on social media about a year ago.
Okay.
And I got a call right before Christmas saying, I would love to put you in my book
That's
that's
cool.
going to be published and distributed all over the world. So she asked me to write a one-page article just on what I do and what I stand for.
Okay.
And this is what I did. They unfortunately spelled my name wrong at publication, but that's okay. But I'm in that book with Jim Jordan, Laura Ingraham, President Trump, Ron DeSantis. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And all these people is people that she picked to stand out to say we stood for our values in 2022. So that's what this is.
So you're
That
making
is
a difference.
awesome.
You're making a difference. That is cool.
We're trying. We're really trying.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Kyle, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, I've got 2 Facebook pages. It's just my name, Kyle KD Sims, and then I've got a Kyle KD Sims for Texas page.
Okay.
On Instagram, I'm KD Sims 9735, and then on Twitter, I'm at Patriot TXS.
Okay.
And we post on all those platforms. We don't post anything on our page. It's not facts. We do our research. Yep. We have others that help send us stuff that we post on there from across the country. And what's going on in Texas is going on all over this country. So what I tell you tonight is not just what's happening in Texas. It's happening in your community, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a shame that there are so many people that have turned a blind eye to everything that's going on, and they don't realize the incremental changes that we're dealing with, because they're small changes at a time. It's not big stuff. It's not that you walked into a school library one day and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, no. They've been putting books in there for years, one at a time. So, all right, so I got another question for you. What if we know who the publishers are of all of these books? What do they have to say about all of this stuff? Is anybody confronting them about the things as well?
They have been confronted. One of them actually, the one from San Francisco, actually got raked over the coals pretty hard.
Well, that's
There's
good.
another. I'm sorry?
That's good.
Yeah. So they've all been talked to. One of them decided that they did want to do business in Texas, so they were going to clean up their act. The other one hasn't been so forthcoming, but that's what we've got legislation in Austin right now. If they pass this legislation, and it's House Bill 900 in Texas, if you want to look it up.
Yeah.
If they pass that bill, then all this pornography will be out of Texas schools. And if it's caught in the schools, they're going to be fined for it. They're going to start going after the people that put this in the schools.
Yeah.
So
okay. So are these publishers only publishing this garbage, this filth, or are they publishing a lot of the other textbooks and school books as well?
No, they publish them all, but they just slide these books in the shipment.
Okay.
And nobody knows it until somebody finds it on the shelf.
Okay, so then maybe we tell them, okay, you take these books out, or we will cancel orders on all of the books that you produce.
That is correct. And here's something else going on that parents don't pay attention to. So most of the kids in the country are on electronics now.
Right.
So if they have an iPad, they have a login and they have a password.
Right.
Parents need to start checking those apps that they have access to, because what we're finding, a lot of these children are getting these books online now.
Okay.
Their parents don't know it, because when they sign in and they click an app on there they think it's interesting, they go to it, and lo and behold, here comes the pornography. So we've got a lot of regulation that unfortunately we need to do across this country. And I've seen a lot of this firsthand. I've seen the books that are online. I have read them out loud to the school boards.
Good.
And I speak at school board meetings all over my county in different cities.
Right.
Most of the school boards either sit there and smirk at us, they laugh at us, they deny it's going on, they call us liars, they call us bigots. But the fact is, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep bringing attention to it.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure that we get this filth out of our schools, not only in Texas, we want to go on in the country. If you want to go to a public library with your child and let them pick that book up, that is your choice, but it does not belong in school.
Frankly, it doesn't belong in libraries either, but that's
It doesn't.
Another story.
I mean, we're seeing this filth at Target, at Walmart, Walgreens. Do y'all know there's in Texas they're selling adult toys at Walmart, Target, and Walgreens right now, and it's located by the pharmacy to where any child can walk by that and say, "Mommy, what is that in that box?" They rename it so the branding looks different, but if you look at them, it's sex toys.
I'm going to have to actually go to a Walmart or Target and see if they're not here in Florida. Holy cow.
Well, I'm telling you, it's out there, and a lot of people didn't know it. We helped break this about a month ago to where they start showing up more. And now any Walgreens, CVS, Walmart you go to here, you can find it.
Wow.
I mean, what classified adult stores? I mean, why are they not having to change their rating to a adult toy store? I mean, it's just crazy.
That's I don't tell people to boycott, but me personally, if somebody comes across a business that's doing something that goes against my morals and values, I will not do business with that company ever.
I don't go in them anymore either for that reason. And people just need to. I tell people that put down the sitcoms for one night.
Yeah.
Go to a board meeting. Go out and look at your stores, what they're selling. Go to your public library. Take 1 hour a day and just go do some research, and you will be amazed at how much filth is in this country right now. It's unbelievable.
And Kyle, the sad thing is there are a lot of communities that are allowing it.
Absolutely.
And so we need to stand up in the city council meetings, not just the school board meetings, and say we want this crap out of here.
Well, we've got a very socialist, left-leaning school board here. We've got a mayor that's the same way in the council. This is why your local elections is the most important election you can vote in.
Yeah.
And in Texas, those elections are happening this May.
Yeah.
I'm putting out my recommendations. I tell everybody to do your own research. Don't just go off what somebody says or how they look or how they speak. Dig into their money, to their connections, how they voted, everything like that. Because if we keep voting on looks and charm, we're going to be in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thankfully, we are now affiliated with OBBM Network, and they are a very strong conservative voice. They are based here in North Texas, but they have a reach that is going literally around the country. And you can listen to their podcasts, and they've got a number of great podcasts that are on there on OBBM Network. And if you want to get more information about them, check this short video out.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events segment of OBBM Network News. New episodes posted each week are reaching people right here in your own backyard. Get in on this. Now it's affordable to reach thousands of people in new markets, offering exposure to your professional network like never before. Get us your listing by Tuesday at noon, and you'll be included in the following week's release on Monday. Email info@offbeatbusiness.com for our digital media kit and discover a better way to reach DFW. Not hosting events? Your business will benefit from the exposure our events list generates. Take advantage of brand exposure on the ticker or with the logo graphic, video advertisement, even a QR code. Click on our QR code to access our digital media kit now.
Kyle, I know we're watching the clock with you, and you've got another podcast that you're going to be heading to fairly shortly. So why don't you give our audience some last minute tips on the things that we need to do or what they can do to help clean up the act of schools and local communities?
Yeah, for all listening, watching, folks, please get involved with your local community. Start attending the school board meetings, the city council meetings, your commissioner, know who you're voting for.
Yeah.
And if you need to get any of those links or reach out to me on my social media, all my pages are public. I don't hide anything, but I want to help everybody in this country to understand that our children are our most precious asset, and they are under attack. We need to stand up and fight for these children and fight for their future, or they will not have one.
Yeah, Kyle, why don't you share again the different places, and my apologies for the typo on the screen. But give us the rundown on your Facebook and Instagram pages again.
Sure. Facebook is Kyle KD Sims. On Instagram, I'm KD Sims 9735, and Twitter at Patriot TXS. And Steve, if I could show you one more thing.
Oh, absolutely.
My wife purchased this book last week for me.
Okay.
Stolen Youth.
Okay.
If you want to know what's going on in schools, I would recommend you get this book and read it. This is a very fact-based book about what I've witnessed, but it's called Stolen Youth.
Who's the author?
It's an incredible book.
Who's the author?
The author is Bethany Mandel and Carol Markowitz.
Hey, Kyle, do me a favor. Show us the side of that book. You showed us the front cover. Show us the side, because I want to see how thick that book is. Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
So another thing that you could do, Kyle, is if you go to our Facebook page, Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve, and you post that on our page.
Absolutely.
I will do that.
Please do
that. We'd love to have our viewers, our followers, and everyone learn as much as they can. And if you can post that on our Facebook page, that would be awesome.
I sure will, guys. And thank y'all so much for having me on. Y'all are great guys. You're great patriots. And I appreciate you letting us get the message out.
Absolutely.
You're doing great work.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Kyle, thanks. Have a blessed evening.
You too.
Oh, Ray.
So I just this on Twitter, I'm looking at the Twitter feed here, and I just saw that the case against Donald Trump implodes. Now, again, this could be just an opinion. I don't know, but they say that the New York cops in revolt as Chris Rock, Elon, Mike Tyson, all back Donald Trump.
Oh, how funny. I love it.
So
I love
it. This is just a joke of, as Donald Trump always says, and I gotta cue this up. Excuse me, but I gotta get this. As Donald Trump always says, this is a witch hunt. Sorry, I know.
How in the world did you get Nancy to record that?
It's such a.
How did you get Nancy to record that? That is just. I'm impressed. I am so impressed, Ray. So okay. So for those that do not know what's going on, the New York District Attorney, Braggs is his last name, Alvin Braggs. When he was elected recently, he said that he was going to indict and arrest Donald Trump. That was his platform that he was running on. And exactly. And he is trying to put a case together that goes back 7 years, which we have now surpassed the statute of limitations, so it's not even relevant. But the case was based on a made up payoff of Stormy Daniels, and supposedly he had sex with her and she was going to reveal, so he's paying her off and so forth and so on. Okay, so that's the liberal story. That's also the story.
In addition to that, it was he had his lawyer pay her off, and then he paid the lawyer back, supposedly using campaign funds, which is why they're trying to make it, I believe, a federal case.
Yes, yeah, but here's the problem. His former lawyer Michael Cohen was convicted on charges of lying to Congress and a bunch of
Six
other things.
times.
Yeah, exactly. And he spent 3 years in jail. So, okay, that's the credible source that Alvin Bragg is using. Okay, I'm I'm missing something here.
What they're going after Trump for is a misdemeanor, and here that Alvin Bragg is taking felonies and downgrading them into misdemeanors, and he's trying to take a misdemeanor with Donald Trump and
Yeah,
turn that into a felony. It's crazy.
it's
It's
insane.
crazy. It's politicized.
Totally,
It's
totally.
more. Let's create a whole bunch of stuff just because Donald Trump is running for president again.
Right. Now here's the best part about this whole story is Kevin McCarthy announced over the weekend that he was going to sick Jim Jordan on this whole case. Jim Jordan is yes, exactly his cadre of investigative people, and they're going to see if any federal funds were being used. And they have called to have Alvin Bragg come and testify before Congress. I love it. Go, Jim Jordan.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so you know what? One of the great things that Trump and I I admire him in so many different ways. The main thing is the tenacity and how he's able to shake off these continuous attacks that he's dealing with.
His resilience.
Yeah, I mean that reminds me of your boxing buddy up in St. Louis
Yes,
that does
absolutely.
resilient boxing. But they keep trying to knock him down, but they're not knocking him down. So
No,
Ray,
they're actually helping prop him up even more.
well, all right. So Ray, I know you probably had these when you were growing up as a little tyke. They were called Weebles. Remember
Yep.
the line? You can Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Well, Trump's going to bounce right back after this. And you know, if Alvin Bragg does manage to get Trump in there, does manage to fingerprint him, does manage to get
That's
the
the optics. That's what he wants. They just
it,
want the optics of Trump looking like a criminal.
but it's going to backfire because that will infuriate so many conservatives and libertarians and so many, and actually it's going to infuriate a lot of, I don't, how do I say this? I don't know if this is ever fits in the same sentence with conservative Democrats, or maybe I call them original
Moderate
Democrats.
or
Uh,
moderate.
yeah, but they're going to be so ticked off because they know that this guy is. Anyway, I'm going to hold my tongue. Ray, what do you think?
Oh, so you need this.
Yeah, not exactly, but yes, I get the
Those of you
point.
that are listening, that was me just seizing a bunch of cuss words that we can't really air.
Oh,
Or,
well, I've
like,
listened to a lot of commentary on this whole case, and every conservative, every legal scholar that I've listened to is saying this thing has absolutely zero merit, no merit
every judge,
whatsoever.
every lawyer, everyone that
Yes,
I've seen has said this is a waste of taxpayer money.
it
It's
is.
just another way of
It is.
distracting the public on what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know, that they should look at Joe Biden, and they're getting closer to finding out who else in the Biden family
Yeah.
has been getting paid by our
The big guy.
competition, China.
Yeah,
China.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that Trump was trying to shut down all of the trade that was going on, and he was making some really good headway and bringing jobs back to America instead of being shipped overseas. So they're just trying to do everything they possibly can to get rid of Trump. Period.
Right.
And they're going to fail once again. This will I think this will solidify the base and grow the base significantly as
I
all of
just
this stuff
hope
is being
it
revealed.
doesn't get ugly between
Oh, I agree.
Trump and DeSantis, because both of them are patriots. Both of them want
Yes.
the country, what's right for our country.
Yeah.
And I hope that they just work together as opposed to go after each other. They should be going after the left and not going after each other.
I totally agree with you. Here's my take on this whole thing. And I'm not going to adhere to what some people are saying. Well, Trump deserves a comeback. Okay, whether he does or not, that's irrelevant. Okay, what I believe, and yes, this is an opinion-based program. But what I believe is that Trump already knows where the dead bodies are. He already knows where the dirt is. He's got a 10-year head start on Ron DeSantis. I'm not saying that Ron DeSantis would not be a good president. He would be a good president for the United States, but I don't think that he would be as good with all of the international stuff and the world trade and World Economic Forum and World Health and all of that stuff. I don't think he would be nearly as good as Trump is. So Trump's got to come back in a clean house.
You have to ask yourself why, for the last 7 years, they have constantly been going after Donald Trump.
Yep.
I mean, for the last 7 years, I put up something on, where is it? I'm trying to
He
find
put
it.
something on Facebook with all the things that Trump is going to be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Here
Ray,
we
I hate to
are.
do this to you.
I know. We'll save this for
Yeah, we'll save
another
this
episode.
for another episode coming up. But it's really powerful stuff. All the things that Trump has done and has already promised to do going forward. So,
Absolutely.
well, Ray, I think it's time we say hasta la bye-bye. It has been another great episode. I'm so thankful that Katie Sims was able to join us for a few minutes and talk about some of the perverted stuff that's going on in our school systems and communities. So follow Kyle and get involved. And
always trust, but, and more importantly, verify.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Good to visit with you again, and you have a great remainder of the week. We'll talk
You as
soon.
well. Get involved, people.
See ya.
Get involved.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.